That's got to look real. And it does, to me. It's pretty horrendous. Not that we sort of focus too much on too many gory things, although, you know, you get the message. But where it has to be quite real, it is. And the special effects are nothing short of brilliant. I've never seen anything quite like them. You don't know that they're special effects. That's how good they are. You don't know.
Jim is not just Jim Caviezel in this movie. There's no one thing that has Jim just being him. He either has a wig, he always has a nose prosthetic on that we apply every single day. I had a total of 9 different stages to Jim Caviezel's makeup, from start to finish, from Last Supper to Pieta. We had to have a technique that the actor could be mobile in, could work in, and most importantly, a makeup application that we could do in a timely fashion. If we have an actor in facial prosthetics, full body prosthetics covering every inch of his flesh, a beard, a wig, dentures, you start to add up all these elements and you start to add up time. And when you're doing that 25 days in a row, you can't have 8 and 10 hour makeups. You'll never sleep. We ended up developing a technique based off of a temporary tattoo idea. It's a 3-dimensional prosthetic that is transferred to the skin via water. And these prosthetics are attached to giant sheets of paper. And we had this special chair that we'd constructed for Jim. And that way we could get around his entire body. We could get the front, the back, behind the legs, the front of the legs, around the arms. And we were able to take these giant sheets of prosthetics that were attached to paper, stick them on his body, wet it with water, and then peel off the paper, and all these pieces were attached to his body. And it cut the process down of what would normally we kind of guesstimated would have been an 8-hour makeup down to about a 2-hour makeup. There were moments when, just for whatever reason that day, the weather wasn't in our favor. He'd be in this entire makeup after the finished process, and we were unable to shoot. So rather than remove him out of the makeup, he would go home and sleep in his makeup. Literally just his body torn up looking, and his face all, you know, scraped, and his eyes swollen. And sure enough, the next day he would come in, everything would be great, and we'd start our day. Those nights were really nice because we actually got more than 2 hours sleep, so that was good.
We got this guy, Tony Bertorelli, on the set one day, and he came in late in the picture because he replaced another actor who had to leave. And he was just walking down to the set, smoking a cigarette in his Pharisee outfit, you know, a cup of coffee, cigarette. He's walking down to the set, and he bumped into Jim in the parking lot in his full getup, and it stopped him. And he had dropped his coffee and everything, and he was just stunned into a complete, like, stupefied state.
And we had to show that. We had to make it sympathetic. I think one of the biggest struggles was trying to make this makeup as real as possible, and at the same time make sure that there was still a human element, something that the audience could connect to.
As much as we knew about the makeup effects techniques that create realistic skin qualities, it still wasn't enough. I approached Steve McAvity and said, what if we take visual effects and combine the two?
You know, you put the lesions or the scarification on, and it would be pretty livid. And, you know, the guy wouldn't actually have a flagellum sort of ripping the guy's flesh off or anything. He would just kind of fake it. And we'd have to cover up the wound with computer-generated skin. And then as the flagellum would come through, you'd actually reveal the wound that was already on him. So it was kind of like the reverse of what most people would have done.
Yeah, you feel a little bit too far away right now.
Too far? How's that?
Yeah, that I believe.
Is that good? You can control it pretty good. I'm not really giving it too hard, like when I'm selling it.
Yeah.
The actors were always just holding this much of a whip. Never even came close to him with the leather straps or the talons that were on the end. We brought back the actual props and made playback loops of the chosen takes so that he could see what he was doing. Then here in front of a green screen, we had a puppeteer in various, sometimes almost comical positions to try to get himself out of the shot, puppeteering what the actors were doing. It also gave us real lighting, real gravity, the tines interacted with each other. None of that has to be programmed or specifically animated. And at the end of the day, we've got 7 or 8 elements for 7 or 8 shots done. Whereas if we tried to do that with CG, we would have been at it for weeks.